Hello there, my name is Kit Kat. My pronouns are she, her, and this build today is a cozy cat cafe built in the world of Britechester. So I wanted to utilize the new Pastel Pop kit, and I think it turns out pretty cute. Right now, I'm just trying to sort of do the layout similarly to the other builds that are in the world. The Britechester doesn't have very many lots, but these shells over here behind the build right now are just shells. They're not real builds. So I do try to match the aesthetic of the world, and this section that I'm building is the Foxbury section, I believe. So it has a bit more modern and mid-century type of builds, whereas the Britechester section with Britechester University has more traditional type of builds. That's what a lot of the university packs build items are. But I do end up using quite a bit of cottage living, the Pastel Pop kit, cats and dogs, and as well as a few of the Strangerville windows. So for the outside, all the windows and doors are this white trim, and I decided to go with some white trimmed windows that have white shutters because the wallpaper on the outside is like that pink siding. So I do go with a pretty plain out window features, but I think that they all sort of pull each other together. There's a lot of these cats and dogs windows that are sort of layered next to each other that hopefully, I think they work. I think it ends up being a pretty cute build. So right now I'm trying to figure out the window layout for the upstairs and the downstairs as well. Just alt placing a couple of windows so that they're not too far off, but they're sort of like smushed together. I put a window there on the side, and then we just sort of, start going to down with windows. Unfortunately, I noticed when building on this lot that the lighting in this world is atrocious. Like, this is the early morning light, and I feel like this is the best lighting that the lot has. I tried out a couple of different lighting times, and it was not working. So unfortunately, the lot is just terrible, but I think it ends up being okay. It looks pretty cute from the inside, especially. Even if the outside is just not, yuck. It's like very harsh. And yeah, like if you look at this side, this is the early morning. So technically, I guess that's east. It's just, there's no winning with this lot. And I end up also using this big picture window from, I think it's from Laundry Day. And I just wanted like a really big window, and that was the biggest I could do, like a big bay window, and that was the only one. And then up here, so remember I said it's a cat cafe. So it is a cafe, it has all the items that you need for a cafe, but then the upstairs is a little apartment for the owner or whoever. And I think it ends up being pretty cute. Right now I'm just doing the layout. Upstairs is a bathroom for patrons of the cafe, as well as the entrance to the apartment. And if you did want to bring a sim here to live, I think you could do that by just like buying a lot on another area. I don't think you can technically own a cafe in The Sims. Also, because of that big sort of like science-y educational building in the back, my camera ends up like flying up a lot when I'm trying to like look at the back. Or look from the back, but I think it's all right. It's not too bad. It was just really irritating to me when I was building. I'm finishing placing the windows on the inside here. I do scoot a couple of things around as we go, but not too crazy. I think it ends up looking all right. Back here, I'm trying desperately to have like this door be taller, because this I think is the short wall height door from Cats and Dogs, but I wanted it to be I wanted it taller. Since I am using the medium wall height on this bottom floor, it did not work. I tried to use these pillars, I tried to scoot it over. It doesn't work. So we end up nixing that idea, and then just sort of moving on. This build, I think, took me like 4 hours to build. Again, as last time, it's kind of embarrassing how long it took me. I did build it in like 2 days. I started building, I think, on Thursday, because I don't stream on Thursdays, and I do stream on Twitch at Twitch TV /KitKatGinger. But so I don't stream on Thursdays. I usually stream Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. But I figured I really wanted to try the new pastel kit and the clutter kit, and so, you know, we started working on this. And I did also build an apartment using the new pastel and clutter kits, but I think that will be a future speed build that I post. For right now, I just really wanted to post this cat cafe because I thought it was adorable. And here I am using a little bit of the white shingle siding. I used that on a couple of areas to sort of make an accent, and then I pulled that back in, and then the rest is just that pink siding there. I think it's really pretty, like a really pretty contrast. I put a little roof over here on this corner, and I kind of adjust those windows so that the side is a little bit smaller. I think I go with those small windows that I was trying to put over the door. That did not work, but I think it looks okay on the outside. It's not too crazy. I do like a black roof shingle and then the black trim, and I also go with some siding trim that's white. So I think it has like a good bit of contrast. The Strangerville windows have like that black on them, and as well as so does the Laundry Day one. So I think it sort of ties it all in together. I think it's cute. Very cutesy. I tried a couple of different stair swatches, but I ended up going with that brick, even though it was not my favorite. It was my favorite out of the options I had. And then I go with that siding or the foundation trim from Cats and Dogs. Lots of cats and dogs in this build. I think that this tile in the back, like sitting area, patio area, is from the Desert Luxe kit. I tried a couple of different ones. It was not vibing for me, so I ended up going with the Desert Luxe one. Inside I placed a couple of pillars to sort of add some architectural interest. And now we are putting some pillars on the side. I remembered that you can raise them like up to the second floor, so I did that for the ones that I could, and I think that the pillars really add, some more architectural interest. That is often something we need in The Sims. So here I am moving to the inside, adding a bunch of lights so that when we get to it, we can actually see. Saving as we go, because I am terrified that The Sims will delete things for me. So my first goal was to get all of the items needed for a cafe in the first floor. So that is the espresso bar, tables, chairs, and then we move to the upstairs with the bathroom. And so the first goal was to just get everything that you need in it for a cafe. And then the idea was that the upstairs had the public bathrooms, and then the apartment for the owner, or I would assume it would be the owner. The apartment for the owner. In this main area, we have 3 tables, and we'll end up having a few places to sit, like a couch. I end up moving that last table that's in the corner there in favor of a bookshelf, because like my idea was more that it's like a cafe bookstore. So there are lots of shelves and bookshelves, and it took me forever to decide what bookshelves to use, but I do end up putting them in, and I think it ends up being pretty cute. Upstairs is just the bathroom with the stalls. Nothing super interesting right now. I'm just placing the items that we need to make it a bathroom. And then I widen that room a little bit just because it's so tight with those stalls in there. I feel like if you used a wall for a toilet room, it's a lot smaller, but we're just going with it, you know, it's fine. And then over here, I'm trying to place some bookshelves, and then I end up placing a little door here under the stairs. And that is where I put a few litter boxes so that, you know, as a cat cafe, it does have the lot traits, cat hangout, cat friendly, and then I believe also university hangout since it is in the Britechester world. I put those litter boxes down there so that any cat visitors have somewhere to do their business. And then I end up trying to get some different bookshelves in here. I end up going with this Pastel Pop one that I sized down, and then like sort of alt placing some things to put in there because since it's sized down, it does not cooperate with the slotting. I tried also so hard to use that pet, my first pet stuff, I think, items from that pack. I only used a couple because a lot of them are just kind of out there and they weren't fitting the vibe that I wanted. So I do leave that there for a second, but it ends up going away fairly soon. And then lots of bookshelves, just trying to get pink things in. The color scheme of most of this build is like pink and blues and greens and a little bit of purple mixed in. I used those bookshelves from Dream Home Decorator, and I was irritated to find out that only a few, like it didn't have any pink swatches except for like the curvy one, and it was annoying. I also tried to place a platform to lower that section down to be like a sunken sitting area, but I did not end up going with that. Instead, over in this corner, I alt placed some shelves, and I think it ends up being pretty cute with the shelves alt placed, and I think it makes sense that you'd have like built-in shelves over here in this little nook. I put a wall there so that they place on this section and not like further back, but it's pretty cute. I keep saying it's cute, but I think it works. And then I placed that eco lifestyle cabinet in there, so there are a couple of shelves that are already filled with those items. And then I tried to like put some things so they were backwards, but it just was not working, so I got rid of that as well. I end up putting a little cat feeder under there because, you know, if you have little visitors who are hungry little cats, you probably want to feed them. So I put that there, and then a big cat tree in the window. I tried to like figure out how to get it so that the cat tree wasn't like clipping into the floor of the window, but it clips. It's fine. I am at peace with it. Over here, I put another little cat perch. I do trade it out for one of the ones from the My First Pet stuff, but not quite yet until the end of the downstairs section. A little place for cat toys up by the espresso bar. And then over in this area, I add a couple of sitting areas. I use that Pastel Pop couch, as well as the couch, I think, from Nifty Knitting, and then a little cushion from the high school years pack. But yeah, it's purple, pink, blues, all kinds of pastel-y colors. And I think that this pack really works well with the high school pack, as well as the Nifty Knitting kit, or not kit, stuff pack, rip to stuff packs. But that's where that purple couch is from. It's from Nifty Knitting. I struggled a little bit with the coffee table to place in here. Most of them are giant. So I was trying to use a couple of different ones, but I ended up going with the one from high school years that honestly kind of looks like an end table with how small it is, but it works perfectly in this space because it's not huge. So it's good to have a little bit of space. I think I end up using this high school year's rug in the blue, green, tealy color. Um, and then right now I'm painting the walls because I realized I had not. So I'm painting the walls and then I add some lights. I make it nighttime because it's kind of hard to know what the lighting looks like when it's bright in the entire build because of all the windows. So I end up going with the shorter pendant lights from the high school pack. I thought about using that that curtain with the lights in it, but I don't go for it. I end up using those lights along with the other Art Deco type light, and I think they're pretty cute. I think it sort of pulls it together, and it's very cutesy. I paint the bottom of the stairs because it's fascinating. Why wouldn't I? And then I do some pops of color, some pops of pattern with that Pastel Pop strawberry wallpaper, which I think it's really adorable. It's not my personal style. The Pastel Pop kit really isn't, but it's adorable. So I'm just gonna roll with it here. I tried to add a little bit of like a staff area behind the bar where you'd have like shelves and stuff, or counter space, but I deleted it because Sims like to not properly behave. So we got rid of that, hanging up some curtains from the high school pack as well that are pink. Why not? Of course they're pink. I think most of the curtains downstairs are pink or the greenish hue that's from the Desert Luxe kit. And I think those are all really cute. I tried a couple of different options. Like the watermelon one is the vibes, but the pink was too orangey, so I did not go with that. I do end up going with those Desert Luxe curtains in the green. I think they're really pretty, and alt placing the curtain rods. How the Sims had not added like separate curtain rods before then, I'll never understand. But I placed those. I think it looks really cute. I'm just gonna clutter up these shelves over here in the corner with some of the cat figurines, a little section of cat treats. I almost had a little bowl of cat treats, but there's like 3 of them. So the canisters of cat treats, a little bag of cat food behind the bar. And then I end up putting a couple of boxes on the top shelves because like they're storage. So I think that's pretty realistic that you'd have like extra storage there. And then I use those cat decals on the walls, which I feel like they don't get used super often unless it's like in a little kids room or something, or maybe a vet clinic. But I end up using those. I think they're cute. I thought about using that coffee bar thing from Get Together, but I nix it. Go with like a notice board, which I think is pretty normal. Like I've seen Starbucks that have lots of notice boards so that you can like tell people that your band is playing or whatever's going on. I alt place these little books from, I think those are from Tiny Living. I alt place those there so that they're on the shelf, but like I don't think they're functional, and it's fine. I'm not I'm not concerned. There are other bookshelves in this build. And then on all these tables, I placed these little cat succulents that I would have one of these in my real house. They're really cute. I place I think all of the swatches are downstairs. And then it looks like I'm going to place those flowers up there, but I end up going with just the box from the clutter kit. I place that up there, and then some magazines. Like, I feel like this build is just me trying things. I placed those like tea canisters from Snowy Escape up there, and then the little box that I sized down a little bit as well. And I turned them to the side because there's like a random cassette tape in it. And it seems weird that it would be in a box in a cat cafe. Here to the side, I place a little, like a gate, because I feel like that's also kind of realistic to have a gate to like stop people from coming behind the counter. And there on the table, I end up placing the flowers from, I think they're from, oh gosh, what's the name of it? I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna I'll remember when I don't see it. Those. Movie Hangout. My goodness, this is like the 5th time that I've tried to record this voiceover. And yeah. I probably should have taken a break. It's like 9:03 on Sunday night. So I probably should have taken a break. I'm trying to like do speed builds like every other week. So every 2 weeks there should be a new speed build. But right now I was away last weekend at visiting my friend. So I was not doing any building. But I did do 2 builds this week. I did this cat cafe, and then on Thursday when the pastel and clutter kits came out, I did a little apartment build that I'll probably upload at a later date. But I was really just vibing the cat cafe more. So here I'm just trying to clutter up some shelves behind the bar with that little menu that's like the boba tea one. I also thought about making this like a boba tea shop, but I was like, no, because you have to make it a thrift store too. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So, and then I just place the little flowers on the counter down here, and I'm pretty close to moving to the upstairs. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit finicky with some of the items that I place. Like I just wiggle them around and then come back and wiggle them around again. It's unnecessary, but it's how I build. And I am trying to be better at building, like focusing on one area at a time. Normally when I build on stream or like in my free time, I like am literally all over the place. I'll go from like the living room to the bathroom to the kitchen and maybe like do the whole kitchen before switching, but it's very rare that I do that. So I'm trying to be better about that and like practice just sticking to one area at a time. Luckily, this area is all open, so it kind of helps. I tried to place that little jazz cat painting downstairs and could not do it. So I went with that little mirror, again from the My First Pet stuff, as is that little kitty perch house. I really don't know what those things are because it's not like a cat hotel. I guess maybe it is a cat cottage. So up here now I'm doing the bathroom. The footage is a little bit glitchy, so I'm very sorry about it. But I grab the lighting to put in the stairway out here, and then make sure that the doors are the white color there. I tried a couple of the cats and dogs doors, but I didn't like the ones that had like windows in it, so I went with the one that I already chosen, which I think is from Get Together. So now we're just furnishing the bathroom. I think some of the footage is just very slow. It'll get smoother again, but it's a bathroom. I mean, there's stalls, there's sinks. It took me a while to figure out what kind of lighting to do in the bathroom. I tried so hard to use that little cat light that is like a little desk lamp or something somewhere, but I ended up deleting it. In the end, I try to check and see like how the lights look from the inside, but I go with these lights from the high school pack, and I think that they end up being pretty good in this space. And then also those little wall sconces just to brighten up the area. Some soap, some hand towels I'll put on the wall, and then a little trash can in there as well. The hand towels came with Get to Work, and then there's that little hand sanitizer thing, which is, that's very realistic nowadays to have a little hand sanitizer thingy, whether it's in the bathroom or in the actual space. I had some curtains to the bathroom. I initially went with those ones from Cats and Dogs, but I went with, I think, the ones from Parenthood because they're like the smaller curtains right there, and I think they go pretty well. And then the artwork in the bathroom is just the ones from Tiny Living. And I add like the little coffee cup in the cupcake because I think that it's pretty, it's cute. This is a cafe. It makes sense to have like food items in here. And then I use that other trash can from Pastel Pop. And then just some little flowers next to the sink. I use the same ones on both sides. I initially tried to do some different ones, but ended up picking the same one and just changing the swatch because I was just not, it wasn't working for me. So we go with those. That's basically done. I add like a little wreath and a sign outside the apartment door. My idea is that the sign is like staff only or like a specific sign for the owner who resides. Put a little wreath too because I think it's cute. And I sized that one down from, I think it's laundry day. I can see the icon barely. But then we're onto the kitchen, and it took me like a bajillion years to figure out what appliances to use in this kitchen, because if you didn't know, some of those swatches don't match. The country living or the country kitchen kit, the cottage living kit or pack, the pink swatches don't match, and I wanted the pink ones so badly, but they don't match each other even, like in their own pack. So I think I end up going with like that cottage living fridge in a white because it matches like the white countertops from cottage living. And then here in the dining room, I had that pink table with those chairs from cottage living. I'm just laying out a couple of items in the dining room, in the living room. Wow, in the living room to get the vibes. Those are the objects that I end up leaving in there. I just shuffle them around a little bit. And then for the like TV stand, I really wanted a table that has like a drawer or a cabinet on the front. So I didn't want one that was open, and I just end up putting like a tiny TV on it. But I go with that one from, I think that's Cats and Dogs as well. Lots of cats and dogs. That couch is from Paranormal Stuff Pack. Rip to the stuff packs. And then that chair is from Cottage Living. I tried to use that little rug in there, but it took me like, I feel like it was like 15 or 20 minutes to figure out the rugs. I don't end up using the little cookie rug there. I put it under the dining room table underneath one of the rugs from the laundry pack. Yeah, that wicker one. It ends up being underneath that wicker one because I think that it looks nice. Up here is mostly greens and pinks as well. So I think I end up hiding it under there just for like a little pop of color. I don't remember what rug I use in here. I feel like it might be this teal one. If you hate it, let me know. I'm not in love with it, but also we need more rugs. So really, it's the best I felt like I could do. And then I used that Maximalist kit wallpaper back there as like a little feature wall. And then this light green, which I think ends up being pretty cute. It took me a few minutes to figure out the backsplash for the kitchen as well. I'm nothing if not indecisive in this build specifically. Yeah, there I go, changing that pink fridge to the white one. And it matches, it kind of matches the cabinets. I don't know. This is The Sims. Nothing matches. You expect things to match? Joke's on you. I tried to put like tile on the floor as well, but could not figure out if it looked dumb or not. So I just changed it back to the hardwood. That's like the white painted hardwood. And then I go with this little rug in front of the sink. And then over here in the corner, I'll end up putting a desk. Right now I'm just hanging a bunch of curtains. I sized down those high school ones to try to sort of just make it look a little bit different. And then I do end up going with those teal curtains over here. I think they're pretty cute. I think I initially thought like, oh, maybe like a little old lady lives here, like a little granny. But I feel like I end up being like, it's like an auntie that lives here. Like, it's basically me. I live here. I'm an auntie. I have no children. So I feel like, because I end up putting like a little bit of kids art on the wall, which I think that's where I'm like attributing the person who lives here being an aunt or an uncle. It's kind of my vibe, but like not Not always. I'll live here though. You can't kick me out. So I use that desk from Parenthood along with just a base game chair, but then we use, of course, the new little tablet and keyboard from the Pastel Pop kit. And then I do a little bit of alt placing. My headphones just died. I do a little bit of alt placing of shelves. My headphones died and my cat is laying on my arm, so I'm just not going to be worried about it right now. So I alt place these shelves. I add some books. I kind of like squish 2 of those cottage living bunny book clusters. Is that, I don't know what they're called. Push those together so that they're, it looks a little bit varied. And then up here on the top shelf, I add the little kitty succulent again. I think I add maybe another piece of clutter probably from the clutter kit. And then I just like add a bunch of clutter to the desk, like those glasses, some Post-its. Oh yeah, I put that thing back up there. Oh yeah, the little box. It's so like realistic to have that little box. That's like a tub, plastic tub. And then we have so much clutter on the desk. And then I just clutter up the cabinets in the kitchen and the counters. I added some more shelves in there as well to sort of, I don't know, make it more full and lively. I changed the right corner piece to the like, I don't know what they're called, but like that shorter cabinet, upper cabinet. And then I'm just all placing stuff on this shelf down here. I put up a little dish dryer, because who doesn't need that? I mean, obviously you need it. There's no dishwasher in this build. But I put the dish dryer up there. I think I end up putting like a little tea assortment, because if this is the owner of the cafe, of course they have, lots of different teas and those dirty mugs there by the shelf. Who else can relate? Raise your hand. I can. But yeah, I end up putting the same shelves that are over the desk over here. It looks like I'm using the other one, but I end up going with the same ones, which are from Get Together. So I place those there. I move them so that they're like tucked into the wall. And then I just clutter them up with some other, kitchen tea related things. The like pitcher and containers, like the casserole dish that came with the country kitchen kit. Okay, who else thinks that some of these kits have too many words in them? I certainly think that it's too many. But yeah, I'm just cluttering up the area. I put in a little basket of blankets, the one with the cat pillow in it from Cottage Living, which I think is adorable. I would definitely have that cat pillow. And then just some more items on the shelf, the little casserole dishes, and just sort of shuffling things around so that it makes more sense. And I stick with that pink and white color scheme, and then just add a couple of more things to that area. I end up putting the little like plant thing in the bathroom. The little canisters of tea with plants in them. I ended up putting them in the bathroom. I thought about like placing them on top of the stove there, and then placing that tea kettle on top of the stove. But in the end, I put like a little shelf, like a hallway table there by the door. So I think I put that there. I might have deleted it just because I think in the end it was just like, ugh, it's not working for me. But that hallway table is from Cats and Dogs as well. Some of the Cats and Dogs things I noticed look a little weathered, which was not like what I was like going for with that. So if they looked weathered, I did not keep them. I don't think I put anything on this wall over here, but maybe I do. I feel like it might just be blank, which I think is fine. Like, otherwise it's a little bit too busy. So I tried to find like one of those Cats and Dogs things with like a cat in it. Maybe I put the Jazz Cats. I might have left the Jazz Cats over here. Oh no, I put the needlepoint thingy. I did. That was downstairs and I moved it. I put the little needlepoint thingy there. I did not keep the jazz cats. They do not visit. I did go into debug to get some of these nifty knitting things, and I shifted over a couple of things so that instead of the bookcase over there, I end up having like a shelf that has like a bunch of the knitting from Nifty Knitting. I can't remember. It's like a corkboard, or it's not a corkboard. That's definitely wrong. I don't know what it's called, but you'll see. Here I'm just placing some lights. I end up going with the basic ones from the base game, and then just trying to figure out like where to put the bed before I go on with the rest of the bathroom. I also wanted to put a like laundry in here, and if you play with laundry, like, good for you, here's a build for you. But I like almost never put like a washer and dryer in my build. I only did it for one of my Let's Plays for one generation for a little bit because he was a slob, so I thought it would like make sense to have just like his clothes everywhere. But normally I don't have them in there. It takes up too much space. It's makes your house a mess. It's just not the vibe. But in a build where I am not playing, it is fine. So I put that in there. I kind of like squish the toilet and sink into the bathroom there. I checked it, like I look like through the bathroom using tab mode, and like the tub had disappeared. So I pulled it back in because I think because it was stuck in the wall, it was like it's in the other room, and it wasn't, but like whatever. And then I just place, yeah, there's where it was missing, so I just pull it back in. And this is pretty much done. I didn't put any curtains in the bathroom because I ended up going with those shelves that are across the window, which may not be like super normal, but I think it works. You know, you might want to put shelves in front of your windows. It's probably not up to the fire code, but there are other windows to escape out of. So then with the laundry there in the bathroom, I moved the door over so we have space for, I played with putting this shelf in there, but ended up not going with it. I ended up going with the one that doesn't have like a top part on it. So then I think I add some more shelves. But so I put that there, add some more shelves because it's shelving day, baby. And then I think I also add, yeah, I leave that little thing there on the back wall. Honestly, I have no idea what it's called, but it's there. It's like I feel like it's something you would have in like your garage. Then I spent an unnatural amount of time placing these books. Because I wanted it to be like a really long section of books, and I wanted some of them to actually be functional. But if you like, I think if you don't have it like slotted to the table, it's not functional. So that is where this comes in, where I am just moving these books around, adding more books, because I wanted it to look different too. Like just a really long stretch of books. Feels realistic. If this was my house, it'd just be a bunch of books everywhere. But it takes a ridiculous amount of time for me to like get them to actually look okay. I think I sized down they might not even work. I sized down the ones from Tiny Living. So they might not work, but they're there, and I think it looks pretty cute at least. Again, it looks cute. I could go through and see how many times I say cute, but I probably won't, so you can count if you'd like. And then I just sizing down a couple of boxes and blankets. I feel like it would make sense also for the boxes to be in here because maybe it's like tax stuff from previous years and some other things like that. But I think also that this sim is maybe like a knitter, so they have like a little craft area. I put some pet bowls here because this is a cat cafe, so hopefully we have our own cats. And then I sized down a litter box and put it in the bathroom. I don't know if it functions. If you want to play in this build, I just recommend deleting the washer and dryer. I don't recommend playing with laundry. Just, it's a mess, and Sims are disgusting enough as it is. I tried to use that 4-poster bed there from the high school pack, but I end up not. I use the one from Cottage Living. And sort of, I completely rearranged this layout, but I used the one from Cottage Living. I leave the green one for a while, but I end up making it that pink swatch with the flowers on it. It just sort of matched a little bit better. And then here I am. Once again, we are alt placing curtain rods, and I decided to do this in the worst possible way, which was to place just like curtain rod over curtain rod instead of doing what I did downstairs, which was sizing it up. I don't know why I did it like this. I think I'd forgotten about how I did it downstairs because I had done that the day before. So I think that is why. I think that's why. And at least here it looks a little bit better when I like lower it. And then I just fill it in because it just looks weird if I didn't. So we filled it in. It's fine. It took me like 30 minutes, probably. I don't actually know. I didn't check the footage, but... And then I just sized down these curtains over here. I have to move the windows because they are clipping to the window and they're not clipping to the right place, which would have been like, you know, with the window like actually on the inside of the curtains, but it's fine. We alt place, and then I just sized up that one. I was like, yeah, that'll do. That'll do me. So I do that and move on much quicker from that window than I did from the other one. Once again, we are looking at the rugs, and it's a struggle. It's a bit of a challenge for me to find a rug. Some of them are too busy, some of them are too ugly, some of them are just like too bright. So it takes a while. I end up changing the bed to that pink swatch, and I think going with a green rug. I'm not 100% sure what I go with. I do not remember. And that rug is just like too modern, so it was not gonna work for me. And then I end up pushing the bed like up against the wall. Like, Sims can only get in one side, but like a real human could probably fling themselves over the foot of the bed if they needed to get in the bed. I think I do go with that pink one. And then there's just like a lot of pink in here. There's the cat tree, another cat tree that's pink. I put the green, I make the cat bed green, the pink dresser. There's not like a ton of stuff in here. I end up putting like an ottoman at the foot of the bed and then go with like a nice little lamp, some flowers, and some more books on the table. So why wouldn't I have books? If this was my house, it'd be full of books. I do use, I don't end up going with that Pastel Pop kit one. I do go with that one. The one with like the white trim at the bottom from Cottage Living. But I feel like this is where I was like, this is a grandma, or this is like an auntie, where it has that little like faux flowers from the Parenthood game pack. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even remember. I add some jewelry and the makeup brushes and the little gosh, what's it called? Perfume set. The little perfume set, the open journal, and maybe this sim is like an author, aspiring author. Some more clutter to this little table. I think I end up deleting the little tea set. I'm not, again, 100% sure. But I add some sunflowers in here, and we are just wrapping it up. It's very close to being done. Just some artwork along the wall here. I go with that little Parenthood thing, little hanging art that looks like some kids maybe worked on it. I put those pastel pop in the bathroom, and then I tried to size down some like portraits to sort of like give the impression that it was like family portraits. And I go with that little prom one right there, and that's basically the entire build. Oh, never mind. I just use a bunch of pictures of Jerry. I did change them though. I did change them from the same swatch, so it's not all Jerry. But it's pretty much almost done. I think after I place the little ottoman from the high school pack, which is why I changed the bed to the pink swatch, and the little flag on the wall, and then I just furnish the back porch, very close to being done. Furnish the back porch, and then we just do a bit of landscaping. So the back porch, the seating area in the back, it has those pink tables, and then I put some lights, and then a little couch. I end up using the couch from Dream Home Decorator, even though this build is a bit more traditional styles and not as modern, but I do end up using the Dream Home Decorator sectional just because I like the way it all fits together. At first I start putting these little lights, but then I remember these big boys, and I was like, oh, why am I doing this? So I end up using these. I think it looks pretty. It looks really like cute and like ethereal, like kind of like a fairy lights in the backyard. So I think it's a really nice nighttime spot too, if you're interested in taking your Sims there. And you can always delete like the stuff in the top floor besides the bathroom if you're like, we don't need like a whole apartment up here. It looks like I'm going to use those Seasons couches, but I get rid of them. We go with the sectional because it just sort of fits a little bit better. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. And we are wrapping it up. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening to me ramble, if you've been listening to me ramble. If you have the video muted, that's fine too. But yeah, I feel like with these speed builds, my thought is just to have like a cozy place to watch, you know, if you need to hang out, if you need something in the background, if you need to just chill, something just to have on to listen to. So hopefully you are enjoying this speed build. If you want to find it on the gallery, my gallery ID is KitKatGinger12, which I will also post in the description below. And I'm just putting some finishing plant touches on the back patio area, and then I move to the front and the rest of the landscaping, adding a little bit of terrain paint. So it's coming together, it's wrapping up. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have